It's very rare that there is a story that we don't know about each other. I mean, Sky and I have been together for 22 years.
It's crazy.
And so, I mean, I feel like I know everything there is to know about you.
Yeah.
And it would be wild if you told me a story that I hadn't heard before.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with Thor for, like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Emily I've known off and on for, 20 years. I mean, it's crazy. So we kind of know everything it is to know about each other. And it's weird that you can surprise each other with a story that's happened in our life. Well, I have one of those. I sort of brought it up, and these guys
I'm giddy.
freaked out because you have never heard this story. I don't think I've ever talked about it.
Well,
honestly.
it's like you've heard your favorite show of all time is ending, and then they're like, you know what?
We're getting canceled?
They're like, we're going to give you one more episode. And that's how I feel.
See,
when
I would feel like it was my
God.
favorite show of all time that's been off the air in syndication, and then they're like, hey, there's this episode you'd never seen before.
Oh,
That-
okay.
I feel like that makes
okay.
more sense.
Yeah, we're getting a little taste of something we love that we thought was over. We thought there was no new content.
Yeah.
Well, no pressure. All right. Here's a story I'm about to tell you that you guys have never heard before.
We ain't done yet. It's time for the P1 Podcast.
Fun's not over yet.
Completely uncensored and unfiltered. Except for that part.
Looking for the after party with it going.
The show's after show starts now.
Wow, this is crazy. I don't know why. It's not like I've ever hidden this story. It's never come up. I don't know why I've never talked about it. It's just random.
Oh.
A random thing that happened in my life.
So excited.
It's straight.
All right.
So back when I first moved to San Diego, you guys know this, I lived in a house that I called my real world house because I lived in a house with 5 roommates. And they were all different. There was 2 girls, an Asian guy, and then me and another guy. And we were all different ages, different ethnicities, all this different stuff. And it just felt like I was in the real world.
And is this the late 90s?
Early 90s, so like
early
94, 95,
Okay.
somewhere around there.
Okay.
Mid 90s.
All right.
And, so we all lived in this house together, and we all became super tight and super close friends. I was in love with one of my roommates. There was that whole
Yeah,
storyline
we
going
heard about
on.
that.
It was a
Yeah.
crazy storyline.
It's the real world San Diego in
It
94.
really
huh?
was.
Yeah.
And then we all ended up hating each other.
There you go.
Definitely.
And it-
Did anyone slap anybody?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you
I think
run?
did
Did
happen.
that person run to the car, open it,
No,
and
that was-
slap the
that
girl?
was Seattle.
Oh, that was Seattle.
Seattle.
That was Seattle. That was David in
Real world
Seattle.
Yes. So there was all kinds of crazy drama and shit that happened in that house. Well, one of our favorite pastimes to do was we actually had a pool table in the garage. And so we would go out there and shoot pool, and drink beer and hang out and all night long, and it was great.
Did you all have to work a job, and if you got fired from the
No,
job,
no,
you left?
that was the actual real world.
No, damn it! I keep getting
was
confused.
working in radio.
Oh, at the time.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I was working in radio. I was on, weirdly enough, 105.3. I've been on 105.3 in San Diego for most of my career.
That's crazy.
So weird.
It's crazy. So 22 years basically at Rock 105.3 in some capacity.
Yeah.
And then back in the 90s, I worked at KCBQ,
Oh my God.
Wow.
which are legendary call letters here in San Diego, and we were on 105.3.
And what kind of music was it back then? What?
That's why it didn't last very long. We were modern oldies.
That's those 2 words don't
Doesn't
work.
make sense.
Doesn't make
What's
sense.
modern
Modern
oldies?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
What was an example
Like songs
of
from
something
6
you
months
play?
ago.
It was like 60s, 70s, and 80s.
Oh my God.
It didn't make
Modern
any. It
oldies.
didn't make any sense. So we played like the Eagles, and it was like a classic rock kind of. But then we'd mix in, I don't know, weird stuff. too.
Platters?
No, it wouldn't do
Not
that.
that
It wouldn't
far.
get that old.
Not that far back.
But yeah, whatever.
Okay.
And so that's where I was working at the time.
Yeah.
And so me and a buddy of mine were shooting pool, and it was at night. And we had a radio on in the garage, and we're listening to music, and we're shooting pool, getting drunk, hanging out, doing whatever. When all of a sudden the nighttime DJ for this radio station comes on and says, "I'm gonna do a dating contest. So if you want to call in, I got a girl here.
Oh.
She's however old,
Right.
she's beautiful, and she's just unlucky in love.
Aw.
And she is looking for somebody in San Diego to date. And I'm going to do a dating game, so I need 3 contestants, blah, 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 blah." And I look over at my buddy, and he goes, "Oh, man, I really want to do that." And I go, you should. I go, that's great. That'd be
Yeah.
great. I'm sure, they'd probably put you on.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I'm too embarrassed. I can't do it.
Aw.
I'm too scared. Blah, 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 blah. And I go, seriously? He goes, do it for me. He goes, will you be me and call in and try and win it for me? And I go, well, that's weird. I go, but okay. I had a couple of pops in me.
Sounds like-
Yeah, so you were feeling it.
Now,
like-
here's the thing.
What?
I was working at another radio station at the time. So I was at a competitive radio station.
It's risky.
And
Big time risky.
But then I thought, well, but it's not me. I mean, it technically is me.
But can't they
I'm
recognize? You're not worried they're going to recognize your voice?
Well, it was
Were
different because I was a producer back then.
So you weren't on the
I
air
was
too
on
much?
the air, but I wasn't like I am now. I
okay.
wasn't a
Yeah.
host or anything.
Right.
So I wasn't talking
Yeah.
as much. I talk every day morning and whatever. But I felt like I could get away with this.
Oh no! Well,
thought-
and you're buzzed, so of
Yeah,
course
I'm a little
you,
buzzed.
yeah.
you can get away with
And it's
anything
for
when
my
you're
buddy,
buzzed.
man, for a bro.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hook this guy
That's
up.
it.
Was this
And-
before B-Dub days? Was this? Well,
Yes.
this wasn't B-Dub.
Yes.
You were trying
No, it was
to help out.
Pre-dub.
Free-Dub.
Pre-dub.
Pre-dub.
Yeah.
Hello.
There it is.
Hello. What?
Did my life exist before dub?
I don't think so.
Pre-dub is
Yeah.
like
It's wild. That's a
it's
wild
a wild time.
It's a wild time.
It's not a better time.
Yeah.
It's not a better time.
It's wild.
So I said, well, chances of me even getting through,
Right.
I don't know if it's even going to happen, but fuck it. I'll call. So I call. Shockingly, I get right through. He starts asking me a couple questions. He goes, you're in. You're contestant 3. Boom. I'm like,
What?
oh, shit. Like, this is kind of crazy.
Did you start getting nervous?
A little bit.
'Cause,
Like, more but nervous, like, I hope I don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Now, when he's asking you questions to screen you, are you answering them as you, or are you answering them as your friend?
I don't really remember.
Like, did you say your name, or did
No,
you
I
say
said his name.
You said his
I
name.
said his name.
But like, are you saying his age, his occupation,
Probably.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really
I do-
remember, but probably.
I do get it though. When I call into New York radio stations about
Excuse
the
me,
Giants,
what?
Oh, God,
I'm
this
Tyler from San Diego. And
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Why aren't you Tyler from Long Island?
because I don't live in Long Island.
Yeah, but I mean, don't you think that's odd that you're calling in on our New York radio station?
Yeah.
Tyler from San Diego.
San Diego?
That's right. And I always get a little nervous when I get put on hold.
Well, I don't-
Still.
I don't
and then and then you hear the and you get on and I'm like, oh God.
What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say?
I mean, Tyler.
Tyler.
That's me.
This was, I mean, the very beginning of my radio career. I had only been in radio for like 3 years or maybe. I mean, now,
Well, I've been in
if
radio
I
10
called
years.
in, I don't think I'd be scared.
I was a little nervous. I get
mean,
nervous. When I called in like a month ago about the Giants, and I was like, oh, nervous. Hope I don't get hung up on.
Are you serious?
That's
That's
hysterical.
serious.
Oh,
How
God.
often do you do this?
It depends on what's going on with the
Oh,
Giants.
God.
So every week.
Hey!
Every week.
Wow.
Yeah, so I kind of got freaked out a little bit, but I was like, hey, I'm in it now. I'm not going to hang up. I know that would screw over this night guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that.
Well, because you know the ins and outs of the biz.
Right. And I know sort of how it works,
Oh,
which
God.
sort of plays to my advantage. So I know I'm going to be on the air. I got to bring it. You get some calls and
Oh, yeah.
these dopes. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I like to date her. And I got to bring the energy, man.
The radio's on in the background.
Yeah.
So annoying.
Wow.
They don't have a Zeth to tell you what to do.
No, they
You know,
don't.
so I know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So I get on there. I'm funny. I'm lively.
Oh,
I'm ready.
wow.
I'm bringing the energy.
Sick.
And the girl is starting to ask like dating game show type questions.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to answer as funny as possible. I'm, being silly and whatever. I have nothing to lose here.
Well,
What do
yeah.
I care? And so we go through a couple of rounds. I mean, like multiple breaks, like this whole
Wow.
thing. It's a massive
That's
deal.
crazy.
I know. And I'm just like, I just want to go back to playing pool. Like, this is getting stupid now.
Yeah. Can I know what kind of phone you're on? Like, is it a phone? Because this is the 90s.
You know,
Is
you're
it-
asking me to remember from 1995, Sky. These are very random
Eddie, what
questions.
kind of shoes were you
I
wearing?
don't
Well, I don't
know.
need to know
Do you
the
remember the
brand.
shirt you were wearing?
But I'm
don't know.
envisioning like a Zach Morris, like massive.
don't
Well, he probably was on a
remember.
cord phone.
But he's in the garage playing pool.
It could be a long cord.
Okay, I'm
When you
just
were playing
wondering.
pool, were you stripes or solids?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That's another legit
I
question.
don't remember. I always
All
like to
right.
be solids.
What time did
Okay.
you get up that morning?
Okay, you asshole.
I swear. I'm sorry, Sky. I don't.
Well, I'm just
God.
envisioning you in the garage on the phone
Yeah.
for an hour straight. You know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
will say this. I do remember walking around, so I think it was a cordless phone.
No, it's probably a long
No,
cord.
no, no. Cordless phone. So
Not-
I mean,
yeah, not a
it wasn't.
cell phone.
It was a landline, but it
Yeah.
was a
It's
cordless
cordless.
phone.
Yeah.
Cordless.
So
Okay.
That's pretty
that's
legit for
weird.
95 though. A cordless? Ooh.
I mean, really?
I didn't have a cordless growing up until like the late 90s.
Really?
We always had a cord phone.
Oh,
You think it
wow.
was a Panasonic or what brand?
Yeah.
What brand? What brand do you think?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm
These
sorry.
aren't the important details,
I'll
guys.
stop. I'll
What
stop.
beer were you guys drinking? Natty Ice?
Without a doubt, we were cheap. You know?
I get it.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we go through the whole thing. Now it's time for the girl to pick her choice.
Oh.
Who's the bachelor that you're going to choose in this dating game? And she chooses bachelor number 3, me.
Oh,
I won.
snap.
Wow.
I win.
Well, did you win or did your buddy
Well,
win?
I won. I mean, I'm
Okay,
the guy on
okay.
the air, and I'm
All right.
the one that's winning it.
Yeah.
And so we're like freaking out now. Like me and this guy, we're my buddy. We're like, oh my God, what the fuck are we going to do? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And so he starts to panic and goes, I don't want to go on the date. You go. You won.
But you fucking just did this for him.
I know. Well, I'm single too at the time, so it wasn't like I had a girlfriend. or
But you're
anything.
working for a competitor.
I know.
And you know if you go on this date, there's going to like probably be a recap and photos. And
I
all
don't
this
know.
shit.
I don't know what was all involved. I don't know. I didn't win like a prize, so I knew I wasn't like going to the radio station to sign anything or whatever.
Right.
It's just like you're going to be hooked up with this girl and you can go out on a date. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I can't believe you're backing out. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm committed.
Yeah.
Like I never really thought I was
Yeah.
going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And so she wins, they get my, information or whatever, and she's gonna call me. And I'm like, fuck it. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And so the next day she calls.
Really?
And she's like, so now I gotta go, well, my name's not
Oh, that's
what my
weird.
roommate is.
Oh, that's creepy weird. You're a psycho.
And-
You're a psycho.
Like, what do I do? Do I tell her the truth? Do I say what
Sure,
exactly is going on? Or
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't know. I don't know what
I
to
would have
do.
rolled with it.
What does that mean?
I would have just kept on the phone call, I would have said it's same name, everything.
Sam, you're
And
Sam.
then if we met and she was hot, then I would have told her the truth.
No, you got to tell before because if you wait to tell her,
That's
then
even
when you
weirder.
get there, that's creepy.
Yeah.
Depends on how hot she is.
Oh,
You got to laugh about it and be like, "Oh, my friend was nervous to call. I was there, so I did it."
So that's what I did, Emily.
Okay. Good.
Oh,
So as we're talking on the phone,
That's the-
I told her exactly what was going on, and I drop, and I'm actually in radio too.
Oh,
that's
Thor
cool
move.
guy.
Thor move.
Hey, it's not Thor move.
Profile picture
fuck.
guy?
I had no shame. I
Really?
didn't give a shit
Yeah,
back
come
then.
on.
Fuck yeah, I'm trying to get tail,
Oh, yeah.
man. And so, so I tell her what's up, and the vibe changes.
No.
What?
She sort of gets a little weird,
Oh no.
and sort of is. You could tell she didn't really like that.
Really?
And she was now uncomfortable, and I'm like, okay, well, do you want to meet up somewhere, or what are you thinking? And she goes, yeah, maybe.
Oh,
And I went,
no. Oh no.
Why you don't say anything?
I just ruined it.
Fuck.
I just
Right.
ruined it.
Thank you.
So we never set up a thing, and I never went out with her.
So you never saw what she looked like?
I never saw what she looked like. It never happened.
Devastating.
Wow, that's crazy.
Could have been the love of
After
your life,
all
man.
of that,
He's
like my whole
married.
life would
How
have been
different
different.
could you?
my
Yeah.
My whole
God.
life could have been
Wow,
different.
who would
Damn.
you be today?
Could have been married
knows?
to,
Who?
who was a girl in the 90s? Daisy Fuentes.
That would have been sick. That would have been sick.
Yep. So there you go. There's my story that you guys have never heard before.
Wow,
I
that's
won
amazing.
a dating contest
With
on a
Daisy Fuentes.
No, it wasn't her.